This is the most important election in modern history. But in most recent elections, about 4 in 10 eligible voters stayed home. We talked to a few of the people who are not voting this time around.
My name is Clifford Janice, and I'm from Brooklyn, New York, currently residing in Denver, Colorado.
Hi, I'm Ellie Bana. I am a Greek-American dual citizen, born and raised in America, but living in Greece now.
My name is Roger Weir.
My name is Mariam Alamis. I'm not voting in this election.
I would have never thought that I would not be voting or would even consider not voting. I never, I've always oh, it's my civic duty or it's my patriotic duty or even my desire. I want to do it.
This year is the first year where I just don't feel like, I don't feel represented or heard.
I'm not voting because no one has earned it. No one has earned my vote. If I can't have a candidate that I feel is going to actually represent me, then why should I vote?
I don't feel like anyone's doing anything that's really going to create change and kind of bring us back to a place where we're not having these continual tensions and issues that we've been having for centuries.
If there was a candidate that spoke to my concerns, spoke to my interests, shared my politics, then maybe I would consider voting.
Because I am overseas and I waited too late in the game for an absentee ballot, then it's okay, should I get on a plane, fly to New York for a couple of days, cast my ballot, and then come back? And because neither candidate inspires me that much, I'm I'll just sit this one out.
If we live in the land of the free, the home of the brave, and we have freedom to choose, then give me that freedom. Give me the choice instead of just giving me these two steaming piles of waste on which to decide from.
This past year, it's been a really, really volatile year. A lot of countries are facing political crises, and really it's a lot of young people like myself who are really, really dissatisfied and are realizing that voting is not the only way to make our voices heard. If we want to actually organize ourselves, we shouldn't see electoralism as our only option. We should be empowered to go to the streets.
I understand that there is power and there is necessity in voting. But if I know that voting has no impact on what I want for change, then it is an altruistic act. It's just doing it again just to do it. I think not voting and not participating sends more of a message to leaders that we're not happy. We're not happy with what's going on.
Welcome to another episode of RBN Live Tuesdays. I'm introduction host, I guess you can say that. I'm CJ. Everybody else will be joining in about 30 minutes. Because I gotta leave early and because of we always have too many stories. Just wanted to start a little bit early to make sure we get a couple of stories in before our normal time. But let me just add one more thing to the list. Podcasters. That's another reason that people are not going out to vote, apparently, according to some people. So we'll get into that part in a little bit, but I do want to sort of play just a little bit, maybe last 20 seconds here. But actually it might be more, because where she says young people are starting to understand the only thing is not just voting. There's other things we can do. So Miriam is her name. So let me start there, because what she says here, it's absolutely spot on. So let's listen again.
This past year, it's been a really, really volatile year. A lot of countries are facing political crises, and really it's a lot of young people like myself who are really, really dissatisfied and are realizing that voting is not the only way to make our voices heard. If we want to actually organize ourselves, we shouldn't see electoralism as our only option. We should be empowered to go to the streets.
I understand that there is power and there is necessity in voting. But if I know that voting has no impact on what I want for change, then it is an altruistic act. It's just doing it again just to do it. I think not voting and not participating sends more of a message to leaders that we're not happy. We're not happy with what's going on.
Absolutely. So just love what she says there towards the end. Just updating some things here. So let's get through the announcements so we can get to the first story. And I think I want to cover the story that's out here, and I'm likely to get on the ground because this is going to be going on for a while. So I'm likely to be reporting on the ground as long as we figure out the equipment and everything. For the first story that I'm going to be covering, and that is largest strike. I can't remember the type of worker they said. Is it academic strike? Maybe they said something like that. But it's definitely the largest strike of 2022, and that's 48,000 California workers strike. So these are workers that work at our UC system, or I should say they're full because you don't know that, University California. So there's a lot of schools in different cities. I think there's 10 in California. We're going to listen to the news reporting. There's 10 in California, 10 UC campuses. That means University of California campuses. So, for example, University of California, LA, University of California, Berkeley, University of California, Irvine. That's where Professor Catherine Liu, who we interviewed for the case against the professional managerial class, works. So probably reach out to her and ask her something about it since it's happening. Like, I don't know if she's part of management or part of the union. So I'll talk to her about it, but definitely something to report on the ground. There's several UC schools within driving distance. So that's something I want to cover. So this will be our first kind of warm-up story before we get into the main, or we have several main stories. Of course, we're going to cover the tweet. I mean, it's pretty. Let me not characterize it, so I won't do that. I'll just let me see. Where is it? I'm trying to think where the tweet is. So, oh, you know what? I know where it's at. So let me. So the tweet is posted on our Twitter. And it's the reason for the intro video. Where am I here? It's the reason for the intro video, sort of answering what this tweet says. And bear with me while it's opening, just taking a little while to open. And I'll put it on the screen just to kind of preview what that is. I swear my internet and nobody's home. It's moving a lot slower than normal. So, all right. So let's let me turn this on just in case. All right. So let's go off of here and go to bookmarks and show you the tweet. I'm sure, or I'm not sure, but some of you may have already seen it, just considering some of the things that have happened over the last 2 or 3 days. And that's this tweet here we'll be talking about also. But I do want to wait till JB in particular in another 20 minutes. He'll be here. He is finishing up his show. But let's preview. So without talking about Jordan, because that's not what I did my thing on Jordan yesterday. But JB will be talking about Jordan today because he hasn't had a chance to kind of speak on it. But what I want to kind of zero in is these concepts here, or this concept. People are complacent, not because of politicians you're disappointed in. They are complacent because a bunch of YouTube grifters obsess over those politicians. So I'm just curious just to kind of delve into this concept of the politicians aren't the reason people are complacent or fed up with the system. And we played some voters. That was for the last election. Some voters that were speaking about how nobody represents them, and that's the reason why they're not voting. So that is the other thing we will cover today. But we're going to start with the 48,000 workers on strike. And I'm going to bring up just a corporate news coverage of it. And then we've got a couple of articles we're going to talk about here. Okay, so this is where I need to paste this here, right? This is it. Oh, no, it's this one. Sorry. So this video, one second here. Oh, good. It's muted. All right. So this video kind of covers it briefly, what's happening. So if you don't know what's going on, like if this is the first time you're hearing what I'm saying, this will kind of cover, or not kind of, this will cover it. Now, this is from the Bay. So this is a local affiliate of NBC. And when we say the Bay in California, we mean Bay Area, which is like San Francisco, Oakland. So in California is called that, or Southern California is called that the Bay. All right, so we're gonna start. Where is it? Hang on a second here. 48,000. I got it paused. It's all set up, but I want to go to a chat check first before I begin into the topic. I want to see what everybody's kind of talking about. What is everybody saying in the comments? So that's the first thing I want to do. We currently have 250 people. So 250 people we have watching right now, and 100 likes. Can we push that to 200 likes? So another 100 people. If we can get another 100 people to like the stream, that'll bring us to 200 likes. Also, this is our current subscriber count. This is actually, should say 25,000. So in a week, so that's a week. Wow, it's been over 1,000 in a week. So the last time we did RBN Live was a week. So that was a number we reported from RBN Live, not from yesterday, but from RBN Live last week. 25,575 is the number that I counted. So if you're brand new, welcome. If you're just here and not subscribed yet, please subscribe. Also, one other thing I was supposed to say. Where is it? Oh, always do that. Scrolling at the bottom. So if you are watching this on replay or you are getting here late to the live, you can join if you join our Substack, you'll get notifications of when we go live. So join our Substack, and typically they come out about 30 minutes to 2 hours before the stream. I think today's was an hour and a half, maybe, where we sent out the notifications about the streams. When we do unannounced streams or unscheduled streams, this is good to be on our Substack. And also don't depend on YouTube, because they also unsubscribe you. So that's another thing. Check to see if you've been unsubscribed, and if you have, you can resubscribe. So now we can get to the topic. 48,000. I had to double check that. I thought it was 4,800, but 48,000 people in the UC system. Let me read the name of the title of this. Nearly 48,000 workers poised to strike across UC system. So this was a day or the weekend before the strike. So I think it was Friday, and then the strike started yesterday. So let's listen.
Well, we're not talking hundreds, but tens of thousands. That is how many University of California workers across the state plan to strike on Monday. The walkout.
My bad. What's up, Rome? Just get your introduction, sir. So Rome's in the house. What's going on, man?
What's going on? Oh, man, I was playing the game. I ain't even gonna lie. I was playing a new God of War. I'm like, oh shit, what time is it? Oh shit.
Well, I just started early because I wanted to make sure we get all the stories in. We got we got a lot of stories. It's a lot that the Empire is doing a lot of shit, so we got to cover it. So you was playing what? God of War, you said?
Yeah, the new God of War, man. It's a masterpiece, boy.
I don't know gaming, so maybe people in the audience. I haven't played gaming, man, since I can even tell you.
It's a real old game. I think it came out on like PS2, PS3. So it's a real old game. It's about Spartans and all that shit, you know.
Yeah.
You guys won't believe in, but it's still a nice ass story though. Still a nice story.
Right on. So the first story we're warming up is 48,000 Californian workers are going to go on strike, or actually on strike as of yesterday. Yeah, so I'm going to be reporting on this on the ground. I got to figure out the equipment because this is going to go on for a while. It's going to go on for a while because if they had a deal in place to stop 48,000 people from striking, they would have done it. But they obviously don't have a deal in place or even close because this is a lot. We just need the rail workers now to join in on this, and so that this can keep going. But 48,000 workers, that's a lot of workers. These are like teachers' assistants. These are like they have graduate degrees, but they're like assistants. They're not like working in like professors or nothing like that.
Yeah, you know, ain't no CEOs out there striking.
No, not management. So just getting everybody caught up on the story. So let's listen to the reporting, the corporate media reporting on the story.
Well, we're not talking hundreds, but tens of thousands. That is how many University of California workers across the state plan to strike on Monday. The walkout of nearly 48,000 includes researchers and teaching assistants at all 10 UC campuses, including UC Berkeley and UCSF. NBC Bay Area's Marianne Favreau is in our newsroom tonight. And Marianne, you have more on the impending walkout and how it could impact students.
Well, the strike could possibly shut down some classes and labs just weeks ahead of finals. Union leaders describe the planned walkout as the largest academic workers' strike ever in the U.S. Researchers, postdoctoral scholars, teaching assistants, and graders plan to walk off the job at 8 Monday morning, including nearly 3,000 workers at UCSF. Mara McDonough, a grad student researcher at UCSF, says the main sticking point is compensation.
For me personally, that means that, you know, I make roughly $40K a year pre-tax, and that leaves me pretty severely rent burdened.
Other issues include help with transportation and
So this is a great story to talk about the different types of workers, Rome.
Yeah.
Because you would think like, oh, you got a college degree, you're not getting exploited. Oh, yes, they are. I mean, every level is getting exploited. I'm talking about dancers. I was a DJ at a strip club for 3 years. Dancers are, you think, oh, they are. But if they're making that money, guess how much the club is making?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So everybody is being exploited. So I like this story for a lot of reasons. One of the reasons is that it's showing different workers. These are workers that's not necessarily like laborers, but they're still workers and they're using their power. Go ahead, Ron.
I mean, like, isn't that the joke to millennials nowadays that, you know, the older generations and the people who went to college got duped? Like, we don't know this. We don't know that they promised kids thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, gave it to them and just let them go off. And then they have to, yes, we all know everybody is getting scammed. Everybody is getting scammed. You don't even go to, there is nothing in the work field that you need to go to school for. Nothing out there that requires you to have a master's degree, and you're not gonna get that type of position anyway. Everybody know that college students have been duped. High school students have been duped. If they don't know, they lying to themselves, or they work for the damn government, the damn self.
Yeah, I forgot we're supposed to do a chat check. I forgot to do that. I just jumped in right into the subject, but. So let me throw up some comments. It'd be interesting for this. You probably going to want to comment on some of these. So we'll start out with a nice one. By the way, love you guys. But this is an interesting one from Huey Long, Every Man a King. I don't think Tosi joining, and there's because one of the stories is Tosi is joining Fox News, and I know you know this. Joining is a bad thing. Dennis Kucinich was a contributor for many years. As long as she continues spreading the anti-war message, That's good enough for me. So
she's still in the fucking armed
yes.
forces.
So
she still can get that call any day. They can put her ass where they want. She's not being anti-war until she denounce the American the U.S. military. So she denounce and throw away her rank where it should be in the fucking garbage. That is not anti-war. I can get on here and say a whole bunch of shit that make me sound like I'm anti this or pro this and that, but it's all propaganda to keep you in line in some type of circle. Tulsi joining. I'm gonna save it for later. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just about to say. I won't say a lot about this because we want to save the discussion for when we get to the actual segment. But there's a couple of things. I don't necessarily think is a bad thing, but how you describe Tulsi, she's not that to me. She's just another actress in this whole duopoly game, just like everybody else. I don't see her in any way serious. I don't even take her seriously. And then the second point, Dennis Kucinich was a contributor. Dennis Kucinich was a contributor with Fox News back when Fox News, is that pre-1995, before 1996, before Bill Clinton deregulated everything. So basically, they had to have a Democrat and a Republican on balanced on for their newscast. So it was a lot different, for one. And then Dennis Kucinich is just, I mean, he's not. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard is not at all anything near Dennis Kucinich. She's not fit to.
Let me go grab a lighter.
Yeah, she's come on. So let's continue with a couple of more comments. Rome is gonna get a lighter here. And Robbie chimes in. Tulsi Gabbard is not anti-war. Look into how she actually votes. Her and her history of voting. She backed Don. I don't know how to say that name, but you see it. Yeah. I don't know, but another controlled opposition. I guess that's what there was someone were people talking about. But Serena says, "Hey, everybody, Joe, the folks who attack Tulsi also attack RBN. Nick should rethink his hate for Tulsi." I don't get the comment. I don't get
the same people that attack RBN, the same people that attack other black groups that don't like us, and we don't like them.
Yeah,
that doesn't matter.
I don't get that.
That enemy, my enemy is your friend. No, that shit don't work here.
Is that what he's trying to say? Oh, now I get. Yeah, no.
There's a lot of people that don't like us, that don't like a lot of fucking people. We can't be friends with people just because they don't like somebody. That doesn't build a movement. That just build a movement of hate.
Right, but let's dive into the comment, because if you have somebody attacking two different groups, that doesn't mean that they're attacking two different groups for the same reason. Like, we can be getting attacked for a particular reason, and she can be getting attacked for a different reason by the same people. So no.
I know it's hard for y'all to give up on this electoral politics bullshit. It's like crack. It's like cocaine. But give up. You lost. You have nobody. You have no friends. There is no hero. There is no Jesus. There is nobody coming to save your ass. I don't give a fuck how they come and talk. I don't care how they look, where they came from. If they are in a position to be on the television telling you information freely, do you really think that they are opposition or our opposition? Right? If she can get up on CNN, Fox News, and all that shit, she's doing their job. She's helping them make motherfuckers mad on the left, and people happy on the right, and all that blah blah. No, stop it, man. There's nobody coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save you, especially if they don't see you.
Do you hear any clicking?
You said what?
Do you have a fan? Do you have a fan blowing in your house or something? I'm hearing clicking noises. I wonder if the audience hears it.
Oh no, that's part of my I'm in my garage because I'm smoking and shit. I got my
No, but it sounded like a
on.
fan almost. It sounded like a fan. I thought it was the electronics. But anyway, let's continue going. It says Tulsi has no principle. RBN appears to have principles. That was kind of a response earlier, and he's given the update on the likes. The target is 200. We were at 100. The target is 200. All right, so here go Rome right here. I just saw your comment just now. So Rome is here now. So let's do a couple more. That's DD. Where's Nick? Nick will be here any minute. Where's my favorite couple of silly gooses? Make sure to hit the like button. Thank you. Oh, here he goes. Jordan about to learn why you don't fuck with CJ. No, I'm not. I don't think. And I'm gonna. Oh, that's Rome. That's Nick again. But anyway, that was 30 minutes ago. So I'm behind on the tweets. I'm behind on the comments, I should say. Let's do a couple of more, but let's scroll down to the more recent one. Sounds like a disaster film project.
Yeah, I think it might be my heater. I got this.
No, you don't. I don't hear it anymore. It was earlier. Would you guys go on Fox or CNN if asked? Yes, I would.
I've been on Fox. All I did was promote Tour for the Poor and talk about socialism. You don't have to go on there and be and you know what the mega communists trying to do. Oh well, you guys, you don't like this and we don't like that. And let's no, motherfucker. I'm gonna say what the fuck I want. I'm gonna say I went on there. I think this is my first tour I ever did in Detroit. I went in there to promote it, and I just sat there and talked about the tour. You ain't gotta play games, you know what I'm saying, to get in those spaces. But if you are in those spaces, use that space to take advantage of that time. Push your shit. Don't join them. Talk over them.
Yeah, just Tulsi's not that agent. That's all. Let's get back to the story though, because it's already about to be 1:00, and we were supposed to do this. But this is a short story. I'm gonna cover this on the ground. I gotta figure out the equipment.
Childcare costs.
Besides the phone, I'm trying to get a little bit better way of doing this with the sound.
I can try to see if you can throw a fundraiser up tonight. I can try to share. We can try to see if we can get you, because I was looking up some equipment for RBN. I saw some cameras that cost $200. I saw a boom mic for $50. And I seen
I would need people with that.
Microphone
yeah, we'll figure it out.
But
yeah, I could throw together a fundraiser to get some on the ground equipment.
And you in Cali, like you always gonna have. You got millions of comrades out there,
man.
I'm pretty sure somebody gonna want to.
And if I had the equipment, I would be able to do a lot more.
Yeah,
because there's always stuff. Just think about it. There's tens of. I could drive at like 20 Starbucks right now. So one of them is on strike. There's one in Lakewood that was on strike, but I think they already voted for their thing. But anyway, let's get back to what's going on in California. 48,000 people striking. Let's continue this and continue the story segment.
At UCSF says the main sticking point is compensation.
For me personally, that means that, I make roughly 40K a year pre-tax. And that leaves me pretty severely rent burdened.
Other issues include help with transportation and childcare costs. More than 9,000 UAW workers at UC Berkeley and more than 2,700 at UC Santa Cruz may also walk off the job Monday, possibly impacting students gearing up for finals.
That does mean that papers aren't going to get graded, or the professors teaching courses are going to have to do that.
A statement on Cal's website.
So if people didn't know, and a lot of people don't know this about hospitals, they think doctors do the least amount of work at a hospital. Like nurses run and administrators run hospitals, and the same thing for like universities. Like teachers and professors, they do more than grading and other things, but they show up and teach. But that's not how the inner workings, the grading, all of this extra stuff, the labor, you see how capitalism has evolved to where all labor is always paid less because it's always based on the model that began this country, Rome, and that is slavery. All models are based on that. So
you see how they put that professor in front of the administration, like he's the actual face and the body of this. Like, no, he's the face, but he's not the actual body. He don't do any, the body work to actually keep the class together and supplies and whatever the fuck it is. It's the people, and this is exactly how they do corporations. Jeff Bezos get all the praise while your mother is in a warehouse for 15 hours damn near a day.
Right.
Ain't got no fucking bathroom breaks. Tesla,
Right.
Elon Musk, they all
Praise.
get the praise. It's fucked up.
Steve Jobs too.
Steve Jobs.
He didn't invent any of that shit. But anyway, let's read this quote. This is from the employer. So this is for the sons of bitches right here, basically. UC believes its proposals has been fair, reasonable, and responsive to the union's priorities and looks forward to continuing negotiations with the UAW and settling these contracts as quickly as possible.
Oh, that's the they went to UAW. Oh, they ain't never getting back. They ain't never getting back to work. I live in Detroit. If anybody lives in
that mean? Yeah, they're part of the
UAW. On strike before I was born, bro. They've been on strike before I was born. That is not an exaggeration, bro. It's flex. Esau always want to stop, but UAW are always their workers are always on strike, always, bro. I swear.
Is that a good thing? Like they hold out? That means they hold out, or they just bullshit.
What happens is the people say we want this, we want this, we want this. Of course, they come with half measures, and then when when those benefits stop or something else get overturned or whatever the fuck happens, pandemic, recession, then the people need more because they only came with them with half measures. So now, 5 months after they just stopped striking, the workers are back out striking for the same shit that they've been striking for 30 fucking years. That's fucking crazy. But they're always going to do the half measures because it's easier to take away. It's way easier to take away. They're always going to have them people without class solidarity as your manager, as your supervisor, so they snitch on your motherfucking ass. But it's crazy, man. But I feel sorry for these workers because if they under UAW, I don't see a bright future for them. I see them accepting a negotiation. I see them striking for a couple of months and then basically being starved out. Seeing that the climate that we live in, people can't afford the rent. They really can't afford to strike for too long because we don't have really organizations that's gonna aid these people, that's gonna aid the strikers and whatnot. And when that money is gone, they're gonna have to.
We're having some good questions. This is UAW because you're talking about this. I want people to know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then they say, what UAW is this? Because let's see. Let me see if I can pull up an article here because this is not a question I anticipated. So, UAW, UC Berkeley. I'm sorry, UC California workers. So we see why they are attached to this.
I'm happy that workers are actually striking. They show that that they actually pay attention, that they got power. They know there's more money out there that needs to be spread out. But at the same time, I don't think striking is gonna cut it. I think they're gonna have to really like get some protests going, walkthroughs, or shut some shit down. You know what I'm saying? Be routed because I don't think they're gonna actually give a fuck about your strikes. They know that you guys will eventually get back to work. I know you guys gonna get
because it's all everything is based on material needs, and then they create a supply chain that you're dependent on, right? They create a supply chain that you're dependent on, and then they pay you very little money, so you can't sustain standing up for your rights. You see how the game works
for your rights.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
bro.
can't find the reason why, but it's not as important. But let's give the proper introduction to JB, and then we'll finish up this video here. But JB, what's up, sir?
Good to see you, brothers. Look, always good to see you guys on a beautiful and cloudy Tuesday afternoon.
Nigga, shut up. It's snowing.
It's cloudy, Rome.
It's snowing in Detroit.
Well, I ain't
here.
in Detroit.
It's like 72.
I ain't trying to hear about your fucking clouds. You better enjoy that damn weather.
You over there blowing clouds. What you talking about? It's 80 degrees right now.
Oh, man. I think it's like 30 something.
It's cold here. It's like 72.
Oh, man.
It's cold. Nigga, 72. If you was in Detroit talking about that, you'll probably get jumped. But you...
Wait. Hey. Some people wish it was 69. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I had a little slipping a little jokey, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. you enjoy, I hear, always have these sort. I think you're the one who said that, have those little jokes like that.
This is what we're dealing with today.
CJ.
Y'all see that? Y'all see that? And this nigga, you see that? They say 1 degree.
No, I gotta have a jacket. I gotta have a jacket. Some 70 degrees. I damn near turned the heater on in my house with 70.
Really?
I was just talking to my wife about this. I was like, you know that the room feel like I'm sleeping outside. I'm like, I might as well sleep outside. Like it's cold in here. It's like 69 degrees in the room, and I'm like, can we turn the heater on?
I ain't gonna lie. One time I was when I was out there, and I was walking to the liquor store. I was drunk as hell. I was like, I had sat on your porch for a minute. I'm like, man, I'm about to go to sleep on this nigga porch, man. Because that bitch is so closed in, nobody can see me.
Yeah.
Nobody even know if I lay down. I can lay down right there.
Oh, I'm gonna set that up like a little enclosed thing. I already been thinking about that because I'm real secretive. But anyway, so JB, we're talking about 48,000 workers going on strike. And what's interesting, JB, about this story, these are UC workers. So we're talking about workers with degrees. I mean, not that it's different, but it's good. It's good for people to see the different types of workers that are having to struggle. It's not just McDonald's workers. It's not just construction workers or whatever the field may be. These are people with degrees, post-bachelors, that are also being exploited. And in this video, one of the workers has a degree. She's the ones that do all the grading of the papers, right? All the labor. 40,000 before taxes, like with the degree. That, I mean, I would think the average person that's making $725, they're thinking these people are, oh, you're making 80 grand at least, right? They're not making that much more. They're just simply not. But JB,
this reminds me of when I used to sell weed to college kids. When I used to sell weed and little cocaine to college kids. Man, they are so fucking broke. They are really broke. I couldn't believe how broke they actually were and how many of them had multiple jobs while going to college. I was like, dude, you might as well be out here with me. At least I make money.
So what was your question, CJ? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't say. Tell us what happened on your show today, because you're just being introduced into the segment. So tell us what's going on with JB. What was the topic of your show, and what's going on with you, JB?
Okay, so one of the things I wanted to talk about, was the fact that I started out with a speech by Matt Gaetz, because Matt Gaetz was actually talking about how he thinks that anybody who's in Congress should not be able to have stocks in the market. They should not be able to be lobbyists. He says so many things that I agreed with that it was sad, the fact that Matt Gaetz actually ran to the left of Nancy Pelosi. And so I spoke about that on my channel as well, as I covered the story about a white teacher in Texas that was expressing his view that he is a white supremacist in front of a bunch of black kids in Texas.
Crazy.
Yeah, so I talked about that, as well as I touched on Joe Biden actually allowing for the codifying of Roe v. Wade to basically just be tossed into the wind post midterm elections. And then I also touched on a little bit of what Jordan Sheridan and Michael Figueredo said, regarding those of us, especially, those of us who are on the left, who are Black, and, basically calling us dipshits, as well as saying that we don't cover white supremacy in the GOP enough. I talked about that on my channel as well. But
so,
then
go ahead. I'm sorry, I thought you were done. Go ahead.
And then I covered some good news stories about, more seats being taken up by third parties, especially the Green Party, later in my stream as well. So I talked about those.
So everybody, after this stream, go and check out JB's latest stream. Today, you hear what the topics are. You're going to have a little bit of overlapping topics today, because I know you're going to chime in on the fiasco with Jordan and Mike, because you hadn't had a chance to yet. Like Nick and I and all of us have done multiple streams on it already. You haven't had a chance to, so you'll chime in today when we get to that story. But let's finish up this story. And this is what the employer is saying, JB. This is their statement. Now they're going to talk about the union and their statement, and then we have another story. So this is them reporting the Friday before. Yesterday is when the strike started. So this is them reporting Friday. So I wanted to kind of get that, and then I have another news segment that talks about when they're on the ground with during the strike. So let's finish this one and we'll move to the next one.
Site said UC believes its proposals have been fair, reasonable, and responsive to the union's priorities, and looks forward to continuing negotiations with the UAW and settling these contracts as quickly as possible. The UC says all campuses will be prepared to make sure that instruction and research is not interrupted during the strike.
All right, so that was that one.
They're gonna remember when we covered the Kellogg strike.
Yes,
we covered it from the beginning to the end. He came on here and he told us that they lost the negotiation. Yeah. They lost. AEW, UAW, their employees always lose, because the union reps, the head of the unions here, they're not strong. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of these people are corrupt. A lot of the unions up here are corrupt as shit.
So you mean they're sellouts? You mean they're sellouts, and they're just selling out the rank and file? And I remember that union leader that came on. You can see he was disappointed. Yeah. Like, he didn't think they should have took that deal. Yeah. But like the vote passed, he was just like, vote passed, like. But he didn't think they should. Yeah, because what they do is they pay you so little you can't sustain striking. They pay you that little that when your kids are getting hungry, we know you're gonna have to come back.
What is this woman gonna do with $40,000 in California, bro? What is she gonna do with $40,000 a year in California? That's before. Man, get the fuck out of here. She's gonna be back to work pretty soon, because they have these people hanging by threads now, and it sucks. Like, we do need a general strike. We need a revolution. We need this and that. But for the moment, it does suck, because I don't see the negotiation going anywhere or getting anywhere near close to what these people want. If anything, they're gonna spray perfume over a pile of shit until it starts smelling like shit again. People wake up like, oh shit, that's a pile of shit. Bitch, we back out here striking. Then they're like, all right. We're gonna sweep it up this time.
This is why our theory of change that Nick was explaining begins first with meeting material needs. We have to create a way of meeting material needs outside of the system, so that people are able to resist. People have to. You get what I'm saying? Who's not going to make a choice of going to a terrible job underpaying when your kids is over here and their stomachs is growling? Who's not going to do that? Capitalists know that, so they force that on us. Go ahead, Ron.
This is what leads to violence. in a lot of communities when we don't have the same opportunities that the people in California, Bay California has. You know, this is what leads to a lot of things. People, when they poor, we act out of desperation.
Yes.
You know, this is an emergency. I have to eat now. Have you ever had your stomach eat itself? You know, I was homeless and that poor. Then I'd be like, fuck, all right, I gotta steal. Because if I don't steal, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna starve to death. So I have to commit this crime. And this is what happens. And we make a lot of terrible decisions because of because of the shit that they excuse me, y'all. Because of this bullshit they put in front of us, because of this life they gave us. But until we all get our shit together, I don't think they're going to get a fair contract.
Rome, can you repeat that again? The part where you said we have to do this because we feel like we have no choice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we gotta feel like, dog. We feel like this because we have no other choice. We do these things because we have no other choices. And I know, oh, get a job and get a job and get a job. Bitch, you think I don't work? That's how sick this country is, that working people can starve to death and be homeless.
I love what they say. Just go ahead, JB.
Well, no, there was a statistic that just came out that said 40% of homeless people actually work full-time jobs. So then what? Yeah. It's like so okay, so they got a job like you said. So now what? What is the next step? Oh, well, they just need to go to school. Okay, some of them have degrees. So what's the next step? Oh, well, they just need to be smarter. Oh, well, wait, what do you mean? Like, hold up. And I'm sorry. I may catch some heat for this. But you mean to tell me that Elon Musk is somehow smarter than the average person out on the street? Look, in the phrase that a lot of African people use, I beg, how in the hell is he more smarter than the average person out on the street? Have you seen some of the decisions he's made? Guess what? That just proves that just because you have this much money doesn't mean you're the smartest person.
This is what capitalism does, man, because we have geniuses. Me and CJ was out there on Skid Row. We saw artists out there. You know, you see some of the best singers in NYC and the subways, and they're homeless. And this is what happens with capitalism. People don't get the best education. They don't get the best opportunity, so they're not at where they should be today. You know, it's just the select few. But I'm pretty sure we'd have had 10 Albert Einsteins. We'd have had, 15 Teslas, whatever the fuck. We probably have 50 Malcolm X out here right now. But it's only given to the select few, and capitalism will continue to do this. I mean, the next generation is continuing this path. If you can't see it with Generation Z, a big group of them, they're going down the same path that millennials went down.
Well, we had 10 different Albert Einsteins, but most of them are in prison or in jail because they look just like us.
Yep. Or they smoked a little crack. Let's keep it real. We probably sold a little crack. But this don't cost me my life. These things don't cost me my life. And I just find it so funny how people can cheer on literal killers. You know what I'm saying? Murderers. But if I say free my nigga, oh, you want to free that guy? Motherfucker, you stand up for the goddamn anthem. Every goddamn day you stand for killers. Hell yeah, I want my killers back out on the streets. They protect me, motherfucker. Just like they protect your ass. If we was out there fighting for our rights and you was somehow in the middle of those, who's going to come for you? Who's going to come help you and your people? Right, your motherfucking killers. Get the fuck out of here. So free my niggas and lock up everybody in the military.
Word. All right, let's now get the updated version of what's going on now. This is from yesterday when the strike happened on the ground. Yesterday, where is this? This is also from the Bay.
Those strikes started this morning over workers' claims of unfair labor practices against the UC system. Here's what we know right now. Close to 48,000, mostly student employees.
So, I mean, yeah, this is UAW. I'm not sure why they're connected to the United Auto Industry. I'm not sure why, but that's the sign. That's the UAW sign. So, not sure why. Somebody asked
They
that
are
question
so
earlier.
evil, bro.
Asked that question earlier.
Represented by various different academic unions are off the job. Happening this afternoon, a rally will take place on Berkeley's campus, just one of 10 schools on strike across the UC system. They're pushing for fair wages to match housing rates in the state and for better hours that reflect their pay rate.
We're here because we're really trying to fight for fair contracts that pay researchers a wage that lets them live in these expensive housing markets. And we can't do that unless UC is abiding by fair bargaining practices.
In a statement, the University of California says, in part, many tentative agreements have been reached on key issues such as a respectful work environment and health and safety matters. We are committed to continuing to negotiate in good faith. UC Berkeley added that even with the strike, they anticipate classes will remain as scheduled and offices will be open.
So, I think that's enough to bring us up to date about what's going on. We'll bring up a couple of articles in just a second, but what do both of you think about what's gonna I know what you think, Rome, about what's gonna happen because they're UAW, but what do you think of this type of this large? What do you think, JB, this says about the times? This is 48,000 people voting. And it's something, the vote was something like 95%. It was in the 90 percentile as far as who wanted, the union wanted to vote. Go ahead.
All right, CJ. All right. I just want to make sure that it doesn't look too grimy because of my phone. I want you guys to see this. This is a phone, right? Why did I bring this up? Because a lot, if not almost every single instrument in this device was put in and developed because of public dollars through research and development. From where? Public universities. You mean to tell me that the same people that helped develop things like GPS and RDF and all these different things that we use in technologies today, the very screen that you're watching that was helped develop by public dollars, by research and development done in these public universities, that capitalists stole and took and then used it to create profits from. You mean to tell me that these people do not have enough to live on? And so now they have to go out into the streets and protest and march because they're not making enough, even though the research and development that they contribute to our society to better our lives, they can't even make enough to live? Is that what you're telling me right now? And yes, some people are going to go, well, that's just the way things are. This is what we live in capitalism. You're really going to subject these people to live in squalor? See, this is what's wrong with the capitalist system. The fact that people like this that are literally educating the masses are now relegated to living in this way. And so now you have some of these union bosses who are in the pockets of the corporations and the oligarchs that are going to sell out their union members just so that they can continue to work for these oligarchs instead of actually getting what they deserve. And so then this is why I say unions are a minor step in the right direction. Really, it should be complete ownership or nationalization, complete ownership by the workers or full nationalization, so that these people who work in these industries, like the education industry, should be paid handsomely.
Thank you, because we only have unions. We only have unions here because of the capitalist system that kept fucking over the workers until the workers got together and socialized and said, fuck it, we gotta have some type of socialism in this bitch. These niggas can't make everything. We're not going to be slaves. We need a weekend. We need child labor laws. I'm not going to have my 2-year-old in chimneys, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly. So this is one of the reasons why I said what I said, because when you bring up stuff like this, it's like, who do you thank for this? You don't thank the capitalist corporations. You thank like that researcher, because they were the ones that helped us get the technologies that we see today, including medical technology. One of the reasons why I'm still alive is because of these researchers who were in public universities. That's why I'm able to say thank you, because who helped develop these dialysis machines that keep my ass alive? Oh, it's not because of capitalism. It's because of public dollars and these researchers, these academic researchers that develop them in these public universities. And yet you want to keep them living in these substandard conditions?
And what's so sad is those signs that y'all see, those signs have been held up by thousands of our comrades over many cities, and it's going to continue to be passed around. And it's sad that they. I mean, I love to see that they're standing up, but I know in this system, you know, without the people actually, without everyone having their backs, they're in a losing position. And somebody else just said, if you can, somebody else just said in the comments, if you can, if a corporation can still work while you on strike, y'all negotiating from a losing position. And this is why I said earlier that they will go with the first couple of deals that's thrown at them, because after a while it's going to go from, oh, I'm mad, I want to protest, I want to burn something, I want to. Then it's like, all right, when that calm down, you like, all right, let me give me a little side hustle. Side hustle ain't doing it. You like, damn, I got to get back to work. And that's what exactly it's going to come down to, and people just going to give in because they don't have the solidarity of the proletarian all around them. And I'm not talking about other factory workers. I'm not talking about other workers, period. I'm talking about just regular people, you know, just the people, man. We was out there striking with them, showing them that they help, you know what I'm saying, our city and our world turn, then
yeah,
I'm pretty sure it will make more of an impact, because it won't just be the workers talking to them, because they don't listen to the workers. They listen to the people that's buying it. So maybe you people who love to buy their vehicles, maybe you should go out there and show solidarity to the workers who actually keep the cars, the last bit of cars that we make in America. Maybe you should go.
You know, it would be good if the students walked out of class. The students walked out of class.
I was thinking the same thing.
Go ahead. Do you want to chime in on that?
Oh, well, you know what? And this is actually a really good point. It says, in addition to sky-high tuition, in fact, if you guys remember the history as to why a lot of schools, public universities, started charging more in intuition. Sorry, I almost said the wrong word. Intuition was because, sorry, but it was because it was within the Reagan administration, when he was governor of California, said that they didn't want a proletariat that was too educated. And because a lot of the proletariat, people who are in school, were also part of the anti-war movement, they didn't want more people who were like us to be educated and be growing in the anti-war movement. So they started charging more in tuition, which also kept a barrier between a lot of us and getting more educated. So that's one of the reasons why. So you see how this continues day in and day out in these public universities. And so, yeah, so that's why.
Absolutely. I think we can wind down this segment of workers striking. I mean, we're gonna revisit this as things we get updates. We'll revisit this in future.
Solidarity, all y'all. But man, I don't know, y'all. Maybe we should do this. I'm gonna say this last thing about this. Maybe we should do this.
Go ahead.
The next organization that we should get together should be to support strikers when they are striking, because that is everywhere all the time across the U.S. And we got to be there for the people before the capitalists choke them out, starve them out.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, we gotta keep that heat. We gotta keep up that heat and let them know that you know what I'm saying, somebody behind them, helping them pay their bills, helping them feed their children, et cetera, et cetera. But until that happens, I don't see them getting a good enough deal. You know what these capitalists really think of you, man. Like I said, they don't listen to their employer, their workers. So, you know, we need the consumers to come out, because if y'all want your cars, you want your shit, but support your fucking workers, man.
May I read this super chat really quick? Because this one's a really, really good one. This is from Christian. Thank you so much. Christian says, yo, CJ, I got 5 on that equipment. Come on, y'all. Support RBN. Remember, if we don't have a seat at the table, then you're going to be on the menu. Asked out.
Yeah. So I'll create the graphic, and we'll start a fundraiser to raise money for on the ground equipment, because I could do that. I could use some time on the weekends to go out.
And surprisingly, it's only a couple of $100. The thing is, we got to get you a Wi-Fi box. That's probably going to cost you the most over a couple months or so. But you know, whatever. It's for the people.
Yeah, we'll talk
that,
offline. We'll talk offline about the details, because I really don't know all the details about it in the back. But we'll figure it out. I do have a couple of people on the ground. Oh, the guy that came out and helped us. And when you came out here for Tour for the Poor in Skid Row, it was a guy that lives out in Lakewood. He's going to be helping. Maybe I can reach out to him and see if he's down to do that. Dylan is who I'm talking about. I didn't want to put him out there, but Dylan is who I'm talking about. Yeah, Dylan is who I'm talking about. So yeah. All right. So let's take a short break in between segments. The next segment, we're going to do a quick one called "The Amazon Lays Off 10,000 Workers," and I wanted to do it right after, because we see 48,000 on strike, and then we go right to thousands of workers being laid off. But let's go ahead. Let's do a like check. Let's do a comment check. If you two could toss up the best comments you see as we do this, and we can maybe talk or answer comments of people. We're at 325 likes. Can we push to 400 likes as we read through these comments? Let's push to 400
no,
likes.
I disagree with this. I like rugged. I like rugged CJ better. I like bearded, no jacket CJ. He more raw. He was being polite with y'all in those days. He started growing his beard. He started acting like Kratos in this motherfucker. Boy.
No, I mean, I just stopped doing it because I was going so often. Back then, I didn't go on as often. It was like clips I would record, but now I'm going so often. But I've always been thinking that. I've been thinking like, man, it's sitting right there in the closet waiting for me to put on. But we'll see.
I told you, I was like, man, you should grow your beard out. Nigga, go ahead. I tell everybody.
I never knew it would grow full like this, because I've never grown my facial hair out before. First time ever. But like the stream,
you were lucky.
Yeah, this is my first time ever.
My shit was patchy.
Let's get to 400 likes. 400 likes. My dad could grow his hair. My older brother, they like literally he has to shave every other day or it's gonna grow out. And I just never knew that mine would be that big.
My dad was so jealous when he got out of prison. He did 14 years and he got out and he seen that I had a little peach fuzz. And he can't grow facial hair. He's mad as hell. Like, what the hell? It's like, you must got that from your uncle.
Any other good comments you two see in the chat there? This is our subscriber count when we started, both of you. I don't know if you saw the update, 25,575. So we're approaching 25.6.
Here we go.
On our way to 30,000. Go ahead, toss that comment up.
This is because of the death of the Black Panther Party. This is because of the death in in the CIA, I mean FBI and all these organizations joining these organizations and killing them from the inside. Cali could have been one of the most radical states. It probably would have been real socialist if Black Panthers would have had it their way. If they still would have had, they would have had way more power today than they had back in the days. And they did a lot. They did a lot, not even just you know, when it came to us, when it came to making sure that the city take care of the people, they did a lot musically. You know what I'm saying? They pressed a lot of musicians and singers and authors and whatnot, movie directors. They was like, hey, you better get our image right on this goddamn, you know what I'm saying? And they the reason why James Brown made Say It Loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Yes, they pressed James Brown.
I
Yes.
remember that. It was like, man, you making this music, but what are you saying to the people? It's
Yeah.
basically telling them, man, what
Yeah.
do you got for the people? And that's what he.
But I think California died when Ronald Reagan drowned it. The solidarity in California died is when Ronald Reagan drowned it. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, people don't understand why the ruling class love Ronald Reagan so much and why we hate him so much, because they love him because he was so successful with all of these terrible things. Just think about it. College was free until he got here. Literally free. Like college was free. And there's a bunch of other things he took away. And then just like JB gave you the history lesson, these anti-war movement was on the campuses, and it's like, wait a minute, we paying these motherfuckers for some free education, and they're jeopardizing the money flow of this money laundering scheme with this military. Oh no. And that's how it was changed. But now it's so weird that people think if we say let's make college free, it's like, what? You are so, it's like, what? We're just going back to what we were. We think we should have taxes higher. What? That's crazy. That's un-American. What do you mean? Taxes used to be like
we didn't even have credit cards.
What are you talking about?
We didn't even have credit cards or credit card debt.
Right.
None of that shit.
They're disconnected from history. It's just a disconnection from history. Lots of great comments. Did you have one, JB, before we get to the next story?
Yes. So Patron BL says adjunct faculty are in a horrible position. They are paid per course $2,000 to $5,000 per semester and can barely survive while paying off student loans. And all universities heavily rely on adjunct faculty.
Yes.
And I know Sabby will probably be able to basically co-sign on this, because the thing is that a lot of these adjunct faculty, they're the ones who are basically the laborers in these public colleges and universities.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's get to the next story, because JB's gonna leave not very soon, but he'll be leaving sooner than we want him to leave. So let's get to this story so we can get to the next one, because I want to hear what he thinks on both of these stories. So I won't even preface this one. I'm just gonna start the video here.
Amazon is planning to lay off about 10,000 people in corporate and technology jobs starting as soon as this week. That's according to a report from the New York Times on Monday, citing people with knowledge of the matter. The cuts will focus on Amazon's devices unit, which houses voice assistant Alexa, as well as its retail division and human resources, according to the report, which also said the total number of layoffs remains fluid. The company did not immediately respond to a Reuters request for comment. As of December 31st last year, Amazon had more than 1.6 million full-time and part-time employees and had recently said it would freeze hiring to its corporate workforce for the next few months. The news comes just weeks after Amazon warned of a slowdown in growth for the busy holiday season when it generates the highest sales, saying consumers and businesses had less money to spend due to rising prices. Amazon is the latest tech giant to make deep cuts to its employee base to brace for a potential economic downturn. Last week, Facebook parent Meta Platforms said it would cut more than 11,000 jobs, or 13% of its workforce, to rein in costs. The week before that,
What do you think is happening here? Like, people think these things are just, it's just a coincidence. These layoffs, people are understanding what capitalists are doing with the systems and the pressures they're putting on the systems to create outcomes that they want to have, like the Fed chair and raising rates and trying to create and suppress wages. Like, this is not a coincidence. Rome, JB, want to chime in before we finish?
I think this is all because of Putin. I'm glad that somebody just put this comment up here, because if it wasn't for Putin, then we would be living in a
Like everything is
Coach,
like,
hey, CJ, Rome, you're a little young, but CJ, you remember Rocky and Bullwinkle?
You gotta remember, hold on, bro. What the fuck, man? Ain't that young?
Nigga, you a baby. Anyway, so like I was saying, CJ, I love you, Rome. But remember Boris and Natasha? The reason why we have inflation is because of moose and squirrel.
But listen. But seriously, this also, because I know this segment is titled Amazon, but really it's a lot of layoffs. And I'm going to show you the tweet. There's a bunch of tweets. There's a lot of layoffs going on. We're just calling this the Amazon because Amazon is laying off 10,000 workers at the same time when people were trying to unionize. So they talk about some of the other industries that are kind of having a slowdown. Let's listen. Oops.
I'm 47 years
Others
old.
include Microsoft, Snap, and ride-hailing firm Lyft. Shares of Amazon have lost about 40% of their value so far this year amid a broader tech sell-off.
Everything for them is centered around our lives is centered around how it affects stock. Do you understand that? Like it's centered around how it affects stock for rich people in the ruling class, not our lives. Like they care about our lives. So, but yeah.
Interestingly enough, 80% of all stocks are actually owned by the top 1%.
Yes.
So really, and I look, I'm gonna repeat something that Crystal Ball said. She said the stock market is just a measurement of rich people's feelings.
Yeah, I like that quote she made had too. I remember that quote.
Because she be hurting when them bitches crash.
Here's a tweet, and then we can wrap this up so we can get JB's comment on the Jordan story, the Jordan Sheraton story.
Yeah.
But look at the layoffs here.
Oh, you know what I see? I see a revolution. Look at all these people. Holy hell. And then the tech is what we are missing. Not only are we missing boots on the ground, but we need the tech industry. We need people from the tech industry, people that know how to get in.
Maybe that's the new general strike, because we're always talking about labor. We're always talking about that. We need to envision a general strike for now. We study history and say history we know, so what not to do, but we need to craft a general strike for today, something that's going to work today. It may not be something that worked 100 years ago. So to your point, maybe tech needs to be a big part of a general strike. But let me just read the amount of jobs. Meta, 11,000. Twitter, 3.7. Intel, 20%. Snap, 20%. Netflix, 450. Robinhood, 30%. Stripe and Lyft, 30%. Salesforce, 2,000. Amazon, 10,000 people.
God damn.
Just crazy. Just crazy. I think it's go ahead.
What does it say at the bottom? It says 120,000 plus layoffs. 2000 to 2001 .com layoffs were 107,000. Quarter four layoffs had just begun. A brutally cold tech winter is coming. Yo, the .com crash was massive. And we're laying off more, well, not we, but they're laying off more people than during the .com crash. Wow, man.
So many people are about to die. People are about to die. Families are going to starve. Not only here, especially in fucking the EU, man. God damn. And Europe.
I just think that this could be the catalyst. Like you said, you see tech workers, you see them suppressing wages through through forced recession, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
This is a forced intentional recession. Okay, so and then right after a pandemic, you got homeless going up, you got housing going up, you got people can't get clean water. Like all of these things, these aren't normal. People are like, oh, this is normal life. No, this is not. No, this is not. So I think it speaks to that, and I think we can close this segment. Let's do this here. I think I already have Jordan's tweet up. And I know you have some other tweets, so I want to give you the opportunity to, if you have other specific tweets, JB, you can share, bring up that tweet and share your own. But this is the tweet that we're gonna start with, because it is like the main segment, or the main topic, the thumbnail topic for today. Let me make this bigger. Hang on a second here. For the seeing impaired, because I wanted to zero in, like I kind of chimed in on what I thought about, Jordan, and we're gonna hear what JB thinks and everything. But what I want to zero in on is this idea here. The idea that people are complacent not because of politicians you're disappointed in. They are complacent because of a bunch of YouTube grifters obsessed over politicians. So without necessarily speaking about Jordan yet, what do you think, JB, just about this idea that it's not the politicians' fault, them not delivering on promises, them not delivering on things that are popular? That's not the reason. What's affecting complacency is YouTubers. You want to chime in, JB?
It feels like he thinks that people who watch us are stupid. No, I said what I said. It feels like he thinks that people who watch us are stupid, because it's like, oh, well, you guys don't realize what's really going on, so you guys are influenced by the people that you watch in order to think this way. And it's like, could it be the other way around? Could it be that people are now seeing what the politicians are doing, and we're sitting here confirming, yes, you're not crazy. The politicians literally are treating you like crap. So really, your complacency, or not even complacency, but apathy towards the electoral process is well justified, because you feel like there's absolutely nothing that they're doing in your favor, no matter what you do. So then your apathy is now being confirmed by the facts that are being told by some of us who are on YouTube. And so now you're also voicing that same apathy, and now going into a different direction that people like him don't like, which is outside of the Democratic Party. So that's what it seems like to me. So to say that people are complacent not because of politicians, have you talked to people? Apparently you do. But have you talked to many people who are expressing why?
Yeah,
they're complacent. Like, hold up, why are we expressing the opinions that we express? Is it not because of why? Because of the politicians? Oh, come on, please. Let's be real. It's because of the politicians as to why we're saying the things that we're saying. If the politicians didn't do what they did, then we wouldn't have any fuel in order to be talking about the things that we talk about,
Exactly.
Jordan. So come on, bro. Let's be honest. Why are you mad? Why? Why are you so angry? I mean, you should be celebrating the birth of your daughter that just happened this weekend, but yet you want to tweet at us instead? Come on, dude. Let's
yeah. Do you want to chime in, Rome, before I play this next video? Because it's of Bernie Sanders explains why poor people don't vote. So I want to insert this video also after you have your opportunity.
It's not about, because our job as reporters, as somebody in politics, is to report politics. So it doesn't matter that we are calling out politics. What matters is which politicians that we are calling out. Because, like he said, he wants to talk about GOP more. He wants to talk about Trump, because he don't want eyes on the people who have the power right now, which is AOC, which is Biden, which is the people that he helped put in power. And we are telling you guys all of these failures. We are showing you, have proof. That shows him as the fraud that he is. That shows the whatever he says, don't even take him serious anymore. Because look what they have given us. the Progressive Party, more wealth has been transferred to the rich ever. That happened under the progressive wing, under the Progressive Party. And it continues to happen under the pandemic. They didn't do anything about Medicare for all. They had a chance to put it back on the floor. They didn't take it. With all these failures, it points back at him. Because who was telling you guys this is the best we got? If this is the best you got, this is fucking horrible. We should never do the strategy ever again. He don't want that attention on him. So look at Trump. Look at the GOP. Oh, they're racist. Oh yeah, we know that. But did you know that your guys are racist too? Did you know that? Did you know that Biden is trying to put 100,000 new cops on the motherfucking streets? Did you know he's trying to hire 100,000 IRS? Like, stop it. He's trying to keep the heat off of you, but we're gonna keep it on you. Trust and believe it.
Can I just say an analogy that I spoke about earlier on my channel? I said that getting mad at us for not focusing on GOP is like, it's like walking in a path and you have two snakes that are on the ground. One is extremely brightly colored and you know it's a snake and you know that it can bite you and kill you. The other one is extremely camouflaged. You can't see it until somebody points it out. Do not get mad at us for pointing out the camouflage snake in the grass that you can't see. Stop doing that. Because the thing is that when we stop pointing it out, guess what? People get bitten and they will die. So this is why it's important for us to point it out, especially those of us that are black and on the left, because guess what? That means that other black people who may have been duped by the Democratic Party are now seeing what is being told. And so now they're going to get their lives saved by not being bitten by that snake in the grass. Because now, guess what? They're going to go a different path so that we can actually get to where we need to get to as a people and largely as a world. And so the thing is that please do not sit here and tell us that we should not point out the snake in the grass that's hidden. Because we all know the snake in the grass on the other side that is brightly colored. They're brightly colored and they let us know who
That
they
bitch
are.
a cobra. That bitch big as hell. You can't miss that motherfucker.
And my point is this: it makes no sense for a white person to tell black people which races they should fight. That makes no sense, because the races that most most would affect me are the police. The races that would most affect me are the Democrats that run the city. Those are the races that most affect me that I would talk about. The races that affect me the most, also Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi. That's why I talk about them. So I talk about the races. So for Jordan though, to say this is so ridiculous that because we're not pointing out the races in the duopoly narrative. Let's be clear, because Democrats care about races only in order to get black and brown votes. They don't care about races in order to get rid of races. That's not what they care about. They care about it so they can go, look at that racist, come vote for us. That's the entire reason. That's why he, as in Jordan, is invested in us attacking these specific races, the races that you can use as bait in order to get you to come out to vote for Democrats.
And these people are not in power. These people are not in power. And let's be real. The only people that's been holding back these bills was Democrats, especially the good bills. What happened when the pandemic first came out? When the pandemic first started, and Bernie Sanders himself was talking about taking 10%. What was it, 3 or 10% from the Pentagon? They all voted against that shit.
Yeah.
They all voted against that shit. Yeah.
And let's not forget the fact that about the $15 minimum wage, it wasn't just Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin. There were 8 other senators that were Democrats that also voted against it. So it's not just the 1 or 2, it's a whole mass of them. So guess what? They're not for the people. And I'm going to quote one of my tweets. I said, if you don't consider someone who eulogized Strom Thurmond, said he doesn't want his kids to be raised in a racial jungle, supported the Hyde Amendment, and wrote the crime bill to be a far-right extremist, then I have a big diamond-encrusted bridge over an active volcano to sell you.
But somebody in our last stream, I don't know if you watched, I don't know if you had time to watch, they had commented that Jordan said that he was a capitalist.
Yeah, I remember that comment. We put it up. Yeah, so I mean,
it kind of makes sense now. While he's talking down to black people like this, and why he always go back to the Democratic Party, you know, and a motherfucker. I'm asking you, like,
this is the part now.
What capitalist cares about the black community? Name me one capitalist that gives a motherfuck about the black community. What capitalist is gonna move for free? It's gonna do this shit for no capital. So you telling me I'm the fucking grifter, but you're a capitalist in black communities with a microphone and a camera? Get the fuck out of here, man. I hope I do see you in Flint. Come out to Flint. I'll be out there December.
Let's go to you, JB, because I'm gonna put up a couple of tweets and give you a chance to, you know, respond since you haven't had to. Go ahead, whatever you wanted to say.
I wanted to ask you, may I read this tweet?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This is what Jordan said. He said, having integrity means not paying for clicks. It also means not ignoring the exploding white supremacy and violent conspiracists coming from the GOP because grifters pretend the gravest threat in America is AOC and liberal shit lips. I'm gonna break this down.
Oh God, this is so dumb. This
having integrity means not paying for clicks. Like constantly fear mongering about a president that's no longer in power. Okay, next point. It also means not ignoring the exploding white supremacy and violent conspiracies coming from the GOP. So you don't think white supremacy exists in the Democratic Party? Are you?
Look at who the fucking president is. Look who the fuck you voted for.
Hold up, Ron. You mean to tell me that somebody like the Democratic Party, they don't have white supremacy and violent conspiracists in their party too? Are you willing to come out there and say that? Next, coming from the GOP, because grifters, who is grifters? Pretending that the gravest threat in America is AOC and liberal shit lips? I would argue that they are just as grave of a threat as the conservatives in the Republican Party. Why? Because here's the thing. They will kneel in kente cloth and say Black Lives Matter in the morning, and then they will put a whole bunch of police in the streets to bash our heads and kill us and shoot us in the back in the evening. Wait, are you meaning to tell me that you don't think that they are? I'm going to tell you this. Your privilege as being white has blinded you to the fact that there are white supremacists in both parties. And now you're getting upset at us for pointing out that the party that you so wholeheartedly are loyal to and give fealty to, that we're actually pointing it out. Here's the problem. Just because you criticize, and this will also go to you, Michael, of the Humanist Report. This also goes to you. Just because you criticize them does not mean you still don't have loyalty to them. I'm going to repeat myself. Just because you criticize them does not mean you're still not loyal to them. Because guess what? You are. And because of that, you're now endorsing or continuing to drive people into a party that continues to do the oppression towards people that look like us. And so when we point it out, and the fact that you're getting mad at us, that shows a lot about the privilege that you extol, that you continuously uplift, because you don't see it. But when we tell you that is happening and you don't listen to us, that's showing a lot of privilege that we just do not have. And now for you to do that while you're taking time away from your new daughter being born and your mother of your child recovering, that says something to us. Like,
That's hate.
why are you doing
That's
that?
hate. That's
So,
hate, my nigga.
My thing is, it's like, look,
Yeah, that's hate.
Number one, please stay out of this debacle that Michael decided to start. Because number one, congratulations on your kid, but why are you coming after us and trying to call us grifters? Also, let me get one thing straight, all right? Because I got time today. You telling us that we're somehow grifters because we tend to be associated with Jimmy Dore is the highlight of some type of, white supremacist thinking. Why? Because you think that we're too stupid to have our own ideas.
Yep.
You think that we're too stupid to
this white man fooling these black boys.
This white man came in and fooled us. When instead we actually see the things that we overlap and agree on. And this white man was cool enough to platform us on his much larger channel. Now, does Jimmy have some things that we disagree with? Absolutely. Does Jimmy agree with us on everything? Absolutely. But here's the crazy part. You also have a lot of overlapping agreements with him too. And yet you talk about him going against the Democratic Party just for clicks, and it's like, but Donald Trump is no longer in power.
Hey, CJ, can you go in the DM group? I think I sent you that one video at Jordan versus Jordan. This would be a great time to play that.
Yeah, I got it. I'll bring it up for you. I'll bring it up.
I'm pretty much done, but I'm just like, don't do that. Do not tell us what's something that we've been living through all of our lives, and then you're telling us that we don't talk about it enough. Like, who are you? The height of the audacity, the caucasity of it all, to tell us that we do not cover white supremacy enough? Have you talked about Jaheim McMillan, sir? Did you? Did you talk about any of these things? Now, I will give you this. You did talk about Pushan Brown and the murder of Pushan Brown's sister, Pushan Brown, and talk to her sister about it. I will give you that. But at the same time, dude, do not come in here and tell an entire black group that covers white supremacy and capitalism and imperialism and colonialism that we don't cover white supremacy enough. Number one, you need to apologize to us publicly for exactly that. Second, Michael from the Humanist Report, did you apologize to Savvy and Colin yet? Have you? Have you apologized to them yet? You need to. Because I said this on my channel, I'm going to say it right here. You both need to apologize. Because that is crazy, the fact that you would actually stoop to that. Please go ahead.
They just mad because they're getting called out, and there's nothing else they can do about it. So now they gotta try to project and reflect all that shit. Like, oh, you're this, you're that. Like, nigga, you literally carry water for the Democratic Party when we told you what was gonna happen. So now, when the people was telling you, we told you this is gonna happen, you get mad at the people. No, don't get mad at the people. Be mad at your motherfucking self, nigga, because either you was dumb as hell or you a motherfucking sellout. Because it's crazy how all of us have this information at the tip of our thumbs and fingertips, but somehow all these these reporters and these podcasters don't get the same fucking news that we get. I see children being blown up with U.S. bombs in Africa in 2020. Have Jordan covered some shit like that? No, because it's under the Democratic Party control. So if he was to cover some shit like that, he's gonna make himself look dumb. And yes, he's gonna criticize, but he's not gonna stand against them. He's gonna tell you guys, okay, look, this is the best we got. You want these guys? Bitch, I don't want none of this shit. And I've been telling you shit. I've been telling you this for years. Get out of here, man. You can go ahead and play this. Yeah, this is a great example of how he contradicts himself.
Yo, Rome, hang on. Let me ask you this. Would you get pissed off at me if I told you, oh, well, you don't focus on the guy in the white robe and the white hood enough. Instead, you focus too much on the dude in the suit. Even though they both are the exact same and they both believe the exact same.
And one more powerful than the other one.
Why in the hell would I focus on the one that's in the white robe with the white hood, and I don't focus on the one in the suit? Because the one in the suit is the one that's smiling at you. Everybody knows the dude in the white hood, the white robe and the white hood are the ones to be avoided. Everybody knows that.
Right.
So why are you bashing us over the head if we don't focus on the one that's covert? Look, maybe you should pay more attention to us because we're pointing out the ones that are covert that you don't notice. Because we're literally the alarm system for you. God,
he know this shit. He know this shit, but this the shit that keep him paid, and he need the Democrats in power in order to keep fucking over black people because it makes him that motherfucking money. It makes him that bread. Hell yeah, nigga, I go to Flint 18 times to make some fucking money as a capitalist. Like, get the fuck out of here. Even you can never give back. Like, you can never give back the shit that you got. You can never give back as much as you had gave. And for him to even be like, oh, I did this and did that, bitch, you obviously ain't doing enough. You obviously ain't fighting enough. You need an you went out there 18 times and you ain't building no type of organization. You know how many people I would have had in the care party if I would have went to fucking Flint?
He's a capitalist. He's not thinking of that. Capitalists just give to charity so they can feel good. Capitalists just give to charity not so they can feel good. They're not trying to change the material conditions. They're just trying to give you something for the day. You know what I mean? They show up for Thanksgiving and then you don't see them the rest of the year. But let's play this video. If you want me to stop it anywhere, just let me know if you want me to stop it.
Oh yeah, he supporting Israel. Fuck this nigga.
Just change the topic or deflect onto something totally unrelated because they only want to focus on the Democratic Party. When I was at the Young Turks, I said that publicly, like enough with Trump and Russia 24/7. That's not why people come to TYT. And it's only gotten worse. It's basically telling us what we already know, that Republicans are terrible. They only want to focus on the Democratic Party. For 5 years, 80% of your stuff has been loser Donald and tyrannical Donald. I would say you are in a camp. They only want to focus on the Democratic Party. But what they're doing is normalizing white supremacy. 2020, I voted for Biden. Not because I wanted to, but because unlike
this nigga said, normalize it, man. Get the fuck out of here, boy.
By focusing 99%.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting line to say, normalizing white supremacy, as if this whole process hasn't normalized.
Like, we ain't talking about overthrowing this whole motherfucking system. Get the fuck out of here.
That is a curious comment. That is one. Let's continue here.
100% of their attention on liberals and the Democrats. Free speech absolutist Glenn Greenwald, Jimmy Dore, a lot of other channels that kiss off their ass and essentially just kiss their ring and defend them. Yeah. I mean, Tucker Carlson right now is doing more anti-war than anyone at NBC, and I can't stand Tucker Carlson. I think he's really, really bad. I think he does a lot of racist shit, but at least he's talking against the war. He's doing that more than anyone on NBC and CNN. The problem is when, blinders, earmuffs.
I've never seen that live. I wish I would have saw that video. I gotta find that video.
White supremacists, autocrat Republicans. In 2020, I voted for Biden.
At the end of the day, I think Donald Trump is a danger. I think he's terrible. I also know that I'm a white person saying this. But Hillary Clinton is not slam dunk 100% better that I, as an individual, can in good conscience vote for her.
Blinders, earmuffs. I'm very much waiting for their coverage of Ron DeSantis banning protests in residential areas.
By the way, folks, for all the trolls out there who ask people to cover things, me too, me and other people, have you ever considered maybe we looked into it? Just saying. Anyway, so...
Blinders, earmuffs. Trump as the boogeyman is no longer a thing. He'll be gone soon. Take the fight to corporate Democrats. They just lost House seats during a deadly pandemic. They are vulnerable. Again, this isn't about Jimmy. They only want to focus on the Democratic Party. Blinders, earmuffs. It's Jimmy and the rest of them. There doesn't seem to be any consistent principles here, right? there doesn't seem to be any core consistent principles. There seems to be a laser focus on one party, blinders, earmuffs.
What I tell people is if you have a conscience, you will vote third party for the rest of your life, because how dare you vote for these people?
In 2020, I voted for Biden.
Joe Biden, a racist, warmongering puppet and tool of Wall Street and an enemy of the workers, and somehow you're going to pat yourself on the back and you're a good person.
In 2020, I voted for Biden.
It's time to start voting third party, no matter what the third party is. You got to stop giving your vote to these two corrupt, murderous parties.
Right. I spoke with POTUS in
Murderers.
Tulsa. I told them we're dying in St. Louis. The police kill us at the highest rate in the nation. Community members and children are murdered at the highest rates. Mr. President, I'm inviting you to our community to hear our stories. This is like asking the arsonist who burned down your house to come rebuild it. 2020, I voted for Biden. I mean, part of why St. Louis has the highest, one of the highest police killings rate is because Joe Biden sent the police weapons of war with the crime bill. 2020, I voted for Biden. It's like, I like Cory Bush as a person, but you're trying to work with somebody who literally is responsible, in large part responsible for the problem. And it just seems like they don't get that. 2020, I voted for Biden.
So, wow, that flew by. That was almost a 4-minute clip. It didn't feel like a 4-minute clip. It felt like a pretty quick clip. But that clip sums up sort of, to me, not just Jordan, because his sort of representation of what a left is actually personified through the entire apparatus of the American left. It's heavily middle class or upper class. It's heavily white, and that's a problem. I mean, there's nothing else to add there. Either of you wanted to chime in on that last clip, the contradictions, anything else?
I'm going to tell you what Colin said on my stream on Saturday. He said, everybody wants to be Malcolm X when the GOP is in power.
That's a great comment.
So,
everybody's real left.
Yeah.
When the GOP's in power.
Yep. Everybody's about it. Remember that phrase? Everybody's about it when you got a Trump in office. But once Biden comes in office,
yep. Sleeping on the same shit. And that Biden is fighting for some of Trump policies to stay in power, motherfucker. And he actually built on the fucking wall. And what you Democrats do? You cheer. And the ones that didn't agree with the wall, you ain't say shit. You people get people killed and hide your hands. It's sick.
And what about the report about AOC literally giving money to CIA Democrats? What about that? Right? What about people like Ilhan Omar and Jamal Bowman also?
I really don't know what Bernie Sanders thinks he's trying to pull.
Sorry, meant to not do that. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. What about them approving to send money to the Nazis in Ukraine? By the way, you guys should watch the interview with that CJ, Nick, and Rome had with you yesterday. That was a brilliant interview. Watch that also after the stream. But the different battalions, the different military militias in Ukrainian military, right? We're literally sending them, and they're all Nazi affiliated groups. We're literally sending that to Ukraine, and yet you have the progressives giving them agreeing to send them money. And so, like, why in the world are we sitting here glad-handing progressives when there's nothing progressive about them? And so when we attack the progressives for not being what they say they are, somehow we're wrong. Somehow, for us not giving attention to the brightly colored snake in the grass, we're wrong instead of pointing out the camouflage snake in the grass.
The most venomous snake in the grass. It ain't the biggest, but that motherfucker will knock you out. And this is what the Democratic Party is. And like
he's basically saying, forget what your radical icons have told you about the white moderate being the most dangerous. Follow what we're telling you.
Basically.
That's basically what he's telling us.
He's going against everything Malcolm X had told us. And but this is his bread and butter, you know. And I see one of one of his fans in the comments.
It's always gonna be that.
It's all good, you know, because if somebody was attacking RBN, they like you see
Yeah,
what
we'll be in the
happens, you know,
comments. Yeah,
right?
you're gonna
You
see
know,
what.
but hey,
I do want to. I do want to give JB.
when you step over. You know what I'm saying? When you get too big for your bridges and you end up stepping over to a realm you shouldn't be in, this is what happens. If you're gonna be a journalist, be a journalist. But don't step over into what black activists is doing. Don't tell black people what is. Don't try to explain. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we got it from here. I'm pretty sure we got it from here. And all that shit, if you don't see the racism and all that toning, then you might have a racist problem yourself. You might have some prejudice yourself that you might have to take up with. And that goes for all his white audience that's watching this. And I don't give a motherfuck if he reported in Flint. There are a lot of reports going on in Flint. We know what's going on in Flint. I don't need any motherfucker to tell me I can go to sleep today, wake up tomorrow, and know Flint ain't got motherfucking clean water.
Rome, let me explain.
My kids know that. My kids knew Flint ain't had clean water before they knew they motherfucking ABCs.
And you're proving the point that I'm gonna make right here.
You don't need them.
The reporting that people love to bring up about Jordan, for example, that's reporting for people that don't live there or know people. You get what I'm saying? Jordan's not reporting for me or JB or Rome. We are attached to the communities where we know it before him. You get what I'm saying? Like, so that's not what his reporting is for those professional managerial class to see what's happening. That's what that reporting is for. The pedestal that we put journalists on, I'm just not there. I'm not there. I'm not there with the he does this, he does that. I'm not there as a person who my view of journalists is not to put them on any type of pedestal. It's almost like that's your obligation. I almost feel like everybody's obligation is to report stuff. So I don't view the way people view journalism and view reporters. I don't view them that way.
But this is America. Everybody has to be a celebrity, you know what I'm saying, these days. Everybody has to look at motherfuckers like celebrities. And I just, you know, I ain't gonna put nobody out there, but I was just at this, you know, this one of my comrades giveaway, and you know, everybody's just like, you know, everybody's acting like just, you know, it was just throwing me off. They was acting like I was just some big guy. I'm like, no, you know, so I'm trying to come, you know, talk to everybody.
Real thing,
you know,
yeah. But JB got to take off. JB got to take off Rome. So let's give him an opportunity to give. I don't know if you're gonna have another chance to chime in about Mike if you wanted to give any last words.
Yeah.
Because I know you talked about Jordan, but you never got to give your opinion about anything that Mike has said. So if you wanted to do that, or just tell us what's going on with you, when can the next time people see you before you head out?
Yeah. So first of all, to one of the persons in the chat that thinks that us talking about this is stupid, calling somebody out on their bullshit is not stupid, by the way. Just letting you know that for Miss Andy that's in the chat. But so
you're free to go anywhere else. You're just like Nick said. You're free to go somewhere else.
Go.
Literally, you're free to just not be here.
Yeah, if you think this is stupid, then okay.
Yeah,
fine.
like your boundaries and your start and stop aren't ours, and stop trying to project that on us.
Yeah, please don't do that. That's
white people for you, man. They just can't help themselves.
Like get the fuck out of here if you don't like it. Like literally, get the fuck out of here if you don't like it.
Yeah, because
we can't help themselves,
when we see it. Because here's the problem. Here's the problem. We have been holding our tongue for so long, especially when it comes to a lot of the progressive white spaces as well as the liberal spaces. And the thing is that we have been holding our tongue and trying to be nice. But the thing is that every single time we decide to go a different route that is more helpful for us, then we get the finger wag. We get somebody telling us, you're not doing it right. When then we actually go according to the people who are our revolutionary leaders that did it, and it actually worked. Because every single time we go with the people that sold out, guess what? It didn't work. We go the route of Maxine Waters, it doesn't work. We go the route of James Clyburn, it works. We go the route of Barack Obama, it doesn't work. So guess what? We're going with Malcolm X. We're going with Fred Hampton. We're going to Assata Shakur. We're going to Angela Davis. We're going to Martin Luther King Jr. We're going to Malcolm X and Huey Newton. We're going that route because guess what? It worked. And so since we're going to go on it which work, then please do not tell us what doesn't work because we seen it with our own eyes and we had the history books to tell us that it actually happened. So please do not sit here and tell us that we are just wasting our time. No, thing is, people need to realize and people need to be called into account for what they say and do against us. And every single time somebody else does it to a different community, they get called out and then they have to apologize. Guess what? They do it against us and they don't apologize. Unless they say nigga, then that's the only time they're calling the question. So no, absolutely not. We will talk about this. Welcome to RBN. Now, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, I'll be on my channel doing a Assata Shakur reading very soon. And also the reading of Dirty Truths by Michael Parenti as well. I will be doing that as well. And thank you so much for having me. You guys have a wonderful day. And
you'll be back tomorrow. I'm sorry, you'll be back
Thursday.
Thursday.
I just wanted to say before you leave that I agree with everything you said, man. And us sitting right here talking to each other is proof that the fight does work. Taking it to the street does work. And this is why they are fighting for everything. They're fighting for you to do everything but that. But actually hold these people accountable. You know what I'm saying? Holding power accountable where it is held. They want you to, you know what I'm saying? Look over there, look what he's doing. No, motherfucker, we doing our own thing. And this is what Malcolm X told us to do. And I'm glad that we live by these laws that RBN has of not bring your enemies to your negotiation tables, because people like this will throw off the revolution. You know, they would try to put doubts into people's heads. They would try to put fear into people, and that's Jordan's job as a DNC foot rubber and bootlicker. And you can see, no matter what he talks about, no matter what he does, his votes undo all of that shit. You voted for the like, okay, you went to Flint 18 times, then you see Rick Snyder fucking endorse Joe Biden, then you vote for Joe Biden, then you go back to Flint. Did you tell the people of Flint that you voted for the Democratic Party that put them in that? You know what I'm saying? I bet you didn't. I bet you didn't. And this is all right,
JB.
This is
all right, JB. Thank you for being here. We will see you Thursday, sir.
Yep. Love you guys.
Right,
love everybody, including the people who I disagree with. Love you too.
All right, Rome. Go ahead, continue. And we'll end with the Iran story. We're gonna end with the Iran story that you brought
I want
up.
to talk about that.
Yeah, let me bring it up then. I'll put it up as you talk, sir. Let me see. Is this it? Yeah, this is how we'll start. We'll start with the lie, and then we'll get to the truth article. So we'll start with the lie, and what we're talking about is this. Let me just read it. This is horrifying. The Iranian parliament votes overwhelmingly. He even has the fake vote total, 227 to 63, to execute 15,000 protesters they already arrested. These were peaceful protesters simply seeking the right to basic justice and autonomy. Unacceptable and barbaric. And there's even an article attached to this lie right here. And it's not the only one. Let me see. I have another one to show you.
Yeah, there's a couple of them.
And I have another. Maybe I didn't save the other one. Maybe I didn't. But oh shoot, hold on. Let me turn this alarm.
I can't they do some, like what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, but let me then open the.
I thought we got rid of misinformation in America.
Apparently not.
But no, but I'm just. This is funny, but it is also dangerous because thousands and thousands of people believe it. They still believe it. And they're like, here's the article to it. It's written by Americans. It's written by American publishers. Bitch, that don't mean nothing. Dog, you don't know how propagandized you actually are. You really don't. You don't know.
I can't believe this. I
You,
can't
you
believe
really
this.
don't know how propagandized you actually are and how little you actually know about foreign policy, how little you know about Iran, Iraq, what we did to these nations. What we are planning for is a regime change. This is what they're trying to condition your mind for. They're trying to condition your mind to hate these people. They're trying to condition your mind to see the leadership as evil. So when we strike, it will feel like justice.
That's exactly what they do. That's exactly how they operate. So the name of this segment is Iran and 15, I think it said 15,000. Yeah, 15,000 protesters. Let me read this from Newsmax. Now, this is them reporting this lie. This is the lie. This is not the truth. So Iranian lawmakers have called for strict punishment for the protesters who have been arrested. A letter supported by 227 of the 290 members of the Iranian parliament urged the protesters be given harsh sentences. According to Iranian state-run press TV, the letter stated, "We, the representatives of this nation, all state officials, including the judiciary, to treat those who wage war against the Islamic establishment and attack people, life and property like Daesh, or they say in terrorists in parentheses here, in a way that was served as a good lesson in the shortest possible time." And I'm going to stop that article. There's no reason to keep reading the lie, but
Man,
just
what
to
the
show you
fuck
that
kind
they
of
wrote a
bullshit?
whole lie, a whole lie was written out. Go ahead, Rome. I'm going to bring up the other article here for you.
Okay, so tell me one Iranian fucking motherfucker in the government, one person in leadership that came out and said, yes, this is true. We're gonna come out and do this. If anything, you would have heard it from them first. But we have no proof of this. And this is the dangerous shit that I be talking about that America does to the mind. You know, they try to propagandize your ass to hate these people, just like we have done the Russians. You can look back at all our movies in the 80s. You know, the villains are Russian, depending on who we're going to war with, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But for people to keep sharing this, and you know, the whole proof behind this, the whole proof that they have is a tweet. It's a tweet. The article goes back to Twitter. It don't go back to the official government of Iran. It goes back to Twitter. Gossip. But people only read headlines, so they're gonna believe it. As soon as they see it, they're gonna be like, oh my God, 15,000 people. What?
So let me bring up some other tweets, and it's about the same subject. Oh, not that one, but right here, Mint Press News. This is their response. Iran has not sentenced 15,000 protesters to death. It's fake news source to the UK-based and Saudi-funded Iran international news outlet and spread by Newsweek and Western celebrities. Can't believe Newsweek actually did it. So the real story is, and they go into the real story. The real story is that 227 out of the 290 Iranian lawmakers signed a letter urging judiciary to consider severe punishment for those invoked in the riot. The 15,000 protester number comes from the Ned-funded human rights activist news agency. In reality, Iran's judiciary has only announced 1,000 trials over the riots, not 15,000. They've sentenced one protester to death for setting fire to a government building, and 5 more protesters have been given sentences between 5 to 10 years. Telegram doesn't censor our anti-war watchdog
Man,
journalism
you know
like
what?
social media. So go ahead.
They always try to blow this shit out of proportion. I knew it. Oh, when I was looking up this show, I was like, okay, somebody's getting punished. Somebody's getting punished, but they just blowing it out of proportion because these numbers are just too sky high and too specific. Like 15,000. Like y'all got it right on the mark. It ain't 4,300, 900. Come on, man. But this Western propaganda, it's sickening, man. And
I mean,
anybody,
it's ridiculous.
if anybody see this, because you know people are going to bring this up. If you support Iran and the people there, even if you support the protesters, whatever, the people are going to bring this up as a reason to do a regime change, no matter if it's false or not. They only going to read.
He hasn't taken this down at all. He hasn't taken this down. Oh, this was done today. This is done today.
They're
And
not
look
going to
what it
take it
says.
down.
Look at this. This is a celebrity. I don't know who this person is. James Melville made, I don't know, communications and sponsorships. It doesn't really say nothing, but he's just retweeting it, or this is what he posts, or just a picture. I don't need to read it again because you know what the story is about. But this is crazy. The Iranian parliament has voted to execute 15,000 protesters.
The U.S. propaganda has gotten so weak, and this is, I don't know. I think it got something to do with our education system. Why can't they make better propaganda? Something that we can, you know what I'm saying? We got to actually go through some shit to actually debunk it. Like, what the fuck?
Wow.
One page on Google, you can just
who is this person?
rebuttal this shit. One page. And it's crazy how people actually is going to believe this, but
look at these are all regular people, Rome, retweeting this article, man.
Push back on this bullshit.
Like you can't take this back. You can't put out an article in a newspaper and then say, "Oh, my bad, that's a lie." You know how many people are not going to hear you say that was a made-up story,
man?
But they heard the first part. You know how many people that is? Look at all these blue checks retweeting this shit. Iranian parliament vote mass execution. Look at this. This is crazy. And this is just a lie.
That's fucking, Americans are something else, man. They got so much projection. You know how many people we execute? We execute fucking people that we say that is you know what I'm saying, that's not guilty. We just kill them. All our protesters, you know how many of our protesters, I'm pretty sure more than 15,000 of our protesters got fucked up just in the last 2-3 years alone. Get the fuck out of here, man. Like y'all got so much love when it comes to other countries and their rulers, but nigga, y'all don't give a fuck about us getting our asses beat, about us starving and shit. Get the fuck out of here. These people don't care, man. They just want white supremacy all over the board, but they trying to do it with a smiley face. But they know it's done with guns. They know it's done with hate and rape.
Let me read this tweet. Let me read this tweet to close out this segment and close out the stream, really, because it goes through a lot of detail about the bullshit. So the widely shared claim that the Iranian regime has committed to executing 15,000 detained protesters is not true. Please stop sharing. The Iranian regime is horrific, brutal, and ruthless as it actually is. There's no need to make up stories.
Right.
This is what happened when reputable sources like Newsweek publish stories that lack basic context and facts. Even Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has tweeted the inaccurate claim. This is the head of state retweeted
dumbass nigga.
Canada. The Iranian
regime. How the fuck you didn't know? How the fuck you?
Yeah, he knows.
He knows some shit like
he knows, nigga. He knows. He knows about all the real killings, nigga. He knows, nigga. He knows. The Iranian regime is horrible as it actually is. Report the facts on what it's doing, and it shows. These are just pictures of heads of states retweeting this, and you can see the picture where it's showing supposedly this is happening. This is so ridiculous. But then he goes on and says, "Here are the facts. Rights groups estimate 344 protesters, not 15,000, including 52 children, have so far been killed and 15,800 arrested by the Iranian regime. The regime is well known for beating up, torturing protesters and political activists in its notorious prison. Then it goes on a little more. I'm just going to read maybe one more, and then we'll close it here. The regime is also well known for holding sham trials and handing out lengthy prison sentences to activists and protesters, and is widely expected to do the same again. I thought we were talking about the United States when I read that line. 1,019 protesters have so far been formally charged by the regime. 1,000, a little over 1,000 has been formally charged. Most have not been charged or tried. And that is just the simple truth. But there's a reason all this propaganda about Iran is coming out. And that's because they have applied, or at least thinking of applying, to BRICS. And it's other things, but this is one of the things. They have a lot of countries, Rome, that are applying and thinking about contemplating applying to BRICS. And the United States doesn't like this. They can see that their power, their hegemony is slipping away. We can end it here, and unless you can chime in what you think about the Iran.
Yeah,
this is the story you wanted to talk about.
Right. You're right, because you're right. America is losing power. So they need to overthrow Iran in order to keep that flowing. We are in the middle of war right now, and it's not going to stop until we actually start another war and end it with Russia. If it goes nuclear, who fucking knows? But right now, America needs that fucking power. They need Iran under their fucking belt. It's too much to lose right now. From a capitalist standpoint, they have so much to lose. The petrodollar is falling.
Right. That's why they don't care. People saying, you trying to bring us a nuclear war, and they're like, we gonna either lose the nuclear war or lose everything else. And what is it to rich people? If they go poor, they rather die.
Yeah,
they rather die than go poor.
And it's another currency that's coming out pretty soon. That's not backed by the U.S. dollar. So it's about to be dangerous out here, man. They fighting for all the straps now. So hey.
But this could be prime opportunity for a revolution if we were, prepared to do that. But we'll see what happens. But Rome, what's up next for you? I'm gonna head out because it's time to go get my daughter. What's going on with you? What do you got going? I know you said you heading to, what did you say, Flint, or what did you say, Mississippi or something?
I'm headed to Flint. I'm headed to Flint,
go ahead.
December 22nd, and we still building on the library, so y'all can donate to my GoFundMe on Unholy Rome. The E's are 3 on Twitter. You can find my GoFundMe on there. But we building the library is going to be on the east side of Detroit. If you want to come out, we need manpower. We need people that know how to do plumbing, electricity, et cetera, et cetera. We just trying to get it together.
Yeah, everything to get it together. Yeah. So that's what Rome is doing. You heard what we're gonna try to do is put together a fundraiser. Not try, but we put together a fundraiser to raise funds to buy some equipment for not just me, but I know Nick also wants to do some more on the ground reporting, but we are short of funds, so we will be putting together a fundraiser. I'll look up the type of equipment I got to get. There are some people that said they're willing to help in the background and editing. So we're going to put this all together. If you've emailed us and you haven't heard from us, we're putting it together. Just really, really behind. So I see a super chat right here. I support you guys. My criticism is with love. Absolutely. Did you see any other? Thank you for the super chat. And that is Andy. Did you see any other super chats? I don't think I saw any other ones up
I think
here.
we got all of them.
So if we missed your super chat, it is not intentional whatsoever. I'm trying to scroll through now. So I don't see any so far. We're gonna end here with the great Che or Ernesto Che Guevara. on I think he was on CBS. This is back, political discourse was way better in the 60s and the 70s. Like they actually, this is like one of them news organizations, the corporate ones, they actually had this guy on, a communist, full-blown revolutionist, on their show. They would never do anything like this at this point. So all right, we're gonna leave you with Ernesto.
Major Guevara, in your speech to the General Assembly day before yesterday, you accused the United States of helping Cuba's neighbors prepare new aggression against her. We, in turn, have often accused your government of abetting subversion in other Latin American countries. Do you see any way out of this situation, any way to improve relations?
I think with regards to solutions, there are solutions, and I think there is only one. We have said repeatedly to the government of the US that we do not want anything but to forget us, that they do not consider us even for good or evil.
From New York City, Face the Nation, a spontaneous and unrehearsed news interview with Ernesto Che Guevara, Cuban Minister of Industry. Major Guevara will be questioned by CBS News United Nations correspondent Richard C. Hottelet, Ted Schultz of the Washington Bureau of the New York Times, and CBS News correspondent Paul Niven.
Major Guevara, you said a moment ago you would simply like us Americans to forget Cuba. Your speech the other day suggested that you can't forget us. You consider us a hostile government 90 miles away. How can you expect us to forget you?
I didn't say exactly that I expected to forget us. You asked a solution, and I said what was that solution in the present moment. If it's possible or not, that's another question.